guys, thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off The Script. I am JD from New York, and I'm bringing you the latest in WWE news and rumors. How many of you were upset when Mercedes Martinez was chosen, unfortunately, to be a part of WWE's newest group, Retribution? I know that I was. In fact, I'm upset that any of the members that are in Retribution right now are in Retribution. I think it is beneath them, in fact. But Mercedes Martinez may have escaped creative failure on the main roster. It appears that Mercedes Martinez has already decided to leave the lame group known as Retribution. Now, this is not confirmed by any means, and we don't really know why, but there are theories out there by the sleuths on social media as to why she left Retribution. Every single person, number one, every single person in the group has updated his or her Twitter handle to reflect their ridiculous WWE given names, but Martinez still says on Twitter, Mercedes Martinez. Mustafa Ali was revealed as the leader on Monday Night Raw. He uploaded a photo, as you guys see there, which I absolutely love. I love that Mustafa Ali is taking this into his own hands. He uploaded this photo, but Martinez was not included in this story of Retribution. T-Bar, which is Dominic Dijakovic, T-Bag, whatever the fuck you want to call him, T-Bag, he just follows 4 people on Twitter, and Martinez is now not one of them. Now, Martinez was rumored to be going under the name of Retaliation as a part of the group, and while that is obviously a little bit more easier to digest than fucking Teabag and Slapjack, perhaps her being removed from the stable will be a positive thing for her moving forward on the main roster. We'll have to see what happens on Monday Night Raw moving forward with Retribution and what they do as far as adding members to said group. This is a great idea. Just get her. In fact, get Mia Yim out of there as well. It makes legitimately no sense why Mercedes Martinez was chosen to be in Retribution. You're already giving up on her as a performer, and she has so much more to give as being a legit threat just by being herself in the women's division than putting her under a different name and putting her behind a mask. That's ridiculous. Same thing with Mia Yim. I don't understand what Mia Yim's story would be as far as joining Retribution. Oh my God, the officials in NXT, they didn't take care of my boyfriend when he got fire thrown in his face from carrying cross. That's why you're joining Retribution? You're upset about that. Of all the things, you're upset about that. What about the fucking name they gave you? So, I think this is a great idea. Get her out of the group. I think Mercedes Martinez should be a standalone in the women's division. And I have a theory that Mustafa Ali isn't even really the leader of Retribution. Because I want you guys to think about this, and I'm going to divulge on Off The Script this coming weekend. Right now, there are 4 men in Retribution. 4 main men in Retribution. T-Bag, Dominic Dijakovic. We got Dio Madden, Mace. We got Mustafa Ali. I hope to fucking Christ they don't change his goddamn name or shorten his name again to just Ali. Mustafa sounds powerful, right? And then we got Slapjack over there. That's 4 guys, right? Survivor Series is coming up. The rumor is that they're going to be slated for a main event in the Survivor Series. Now, unless WWE has changed the Survivor Series back to the traditional 4 versus 4 and move away from the 5 versus 5 they've been doing for all these years, I don't see why they wouldn't add another guy. So if they are doing the 5 versus 5, they clearly can't have Mia Yim compete on the men's team. That would look fucking ridiculous. And I would not like that at all. And you know WWE doesn't do the intergender thing. But if there is 5 versus 5, who else is going to be added? There are theories out there. We'll talk about it on Off The Script, but I got a theory of my own, and it may fit into making this group a little bit more threatening than we first looked at when they debuted on Monday Night Raw. But Mercedes Martinez, man, I can't even begin to tell you how great of a decision this is to move her away. Triple H probably said something to Vince McMahon or fucking or Bruce over there on Monday Night Raw. He probably looked at all three of them and said, bro, what the fuck are you doing? I brought her in, I gave her this big presentation, and then you want to just wipe that all away and put her behind a fucking mask and change her name. What the fuck did we bring her in for? So hopefully that is the case. She is much better standalone, away from the group, and I would love to see her succeed after all this time dreaming of being in the WWE, wanting to be in the WWE, and then you finally get there and they just straddle you with this creative fucking failure. It's unreal how you could do that to somebody like Mercedes Martinez. This is nothing more than a positive thing for her career moving forward. You know, a lot of people don't understand where I'm coming from a lot of the times. And I'm talking primarily about the haters. They don't really listen to the words that come out of my mouth. They don't listen to my stance and my point of view on anything. They want to believe what they want to believe, and they don't want to hear the truth of the reality. I've been very hard on Alexa Bliss for the majority of her career, and I think everybody has come to an understanding that she's just not a good professional wrestler. But I will give her the benefit of the doubt. Her recent work right now with Bray Wyatt and this character transformation has been the best work of her WWE career. I think she's nailing it 1,000%, and she's doing it brilliantly. Now, Mark Henry was on Busted Open Radio, and he gave everybody a glimpse into what WWE could potentially do with Alexa Bliss. And I gotta be honest with you, man, I don't usually agree with anything on Busted Open Radio. I think they're a bunch of shills. I don't really agree with anything that Mark Henry says either. But he said this and proposed that Alexa Bliss should lead a stable of strong male superstars. This could give her a chance to display that newfound power of the Fiend's influence. He says this, and I quote, "What could Alexa do with that kind of power? Harness a stable of men. But what about the women? What about people like Nikki Cross and people that are not being used right now? She can convince them. I can introduce you to him, the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. I can help you. I can help you become a champion." Mark Henry continued to say, and I quote, "She could do unbelievable things that you could only do if you have the catalyst for it." And I think WWE, they're on the right track to creating a female monster, and that's gonna be great, end quote. Now, believe it or not, I think this is a really good idea. I don't know who you would choose on the roster as far as men go. I won't even think about doing anything with the women. I think the women need to be individualized because there's less women than there are men. You just can't take women and transform them overnight into what Alexa Bliss is. A, I don't want to see that personally. B, I think the women need to be individualized and they need to have characters of their own. You should not mold characters for the women based off Alexa Bliss. And C, if you do that, then it's going to lessen the effect and the influence that Alexa Bliss has. You don't want to make everybody feel the same. This is Alexa Bliss's role. Leave it to Alexa Bliss. Now, as far as the men go, I don't even know who you would think about putting in a stable led by Alexa Bliss, with her being the mouthpiece. Maybe a Chad Gable, guys that are underutilized, guys that are lost, guys that are struggling to find their way. And have it maybe be one big superstar that's been on a losing streak. I could see Aleister Black doing that as well. You know, put him in there. But it's got to be a well thought out situation. You just can't take somebody and transform them into what Alexa Bliss is overnight. It's got to make sense. I think that's a great idea. And I said plenty of times over the last couple of weeks, this is the best that Alexa Bliss has looked on the main roster. Before that, it was when she was a mouthpiece and a manager and doing not much in the ring. So if Alexa Bliss is being transformed into this new character influenced by the Fiend and potentially leading a stable and being a mouthpiece and a manager again, we may be onto something here, man. I am very intrigued about what they do with this new power couple, this new Joker Harley Quinn dynamic that they have going on. Like I said, I don't really agree or discuss anything on Busted Open Radio because I think they're a bunch of shills, but I do think that this is a great idea and there is a lot of different avenues that WWE can take with this transformation of Alexa Bliss. We all know the WWE Tag Team Division is absolutely atrocious. It is a dumpster fire of sorts. On both Monday Night Raw and SmackDown on Fox. The draft is coming up tonight, in fact. And the one thing I want to see happen is the fucking Tag Team Divisions merged once and for all. Bruce! Please. Please. The one thing I want to see happen, even if I don't get the other thing that I want, which would be the women's division being merged, because, I mean, if you look at the fucking women's divisions on both shows, I mean, Jesus Christ, can you get any worse? The only women that you're actually pushing are Sasha Banks, Asuka, and Bayley. That's it. Alexa Bliss isn't even wrestling anymore. Now she's with The Fiend. Four women. Great. And Bianca Belair has still been off TV since WrestleMania. That I will never understand. But the tag team division needs to be merged. Now, the tag team division went down in a ball of flames completely, once and for all, when Ivar of the Viking Raiders had his neck injured, and then he went to go get surgery, and who the fuck knows how long he's gonna be out. Now, Erik is out. Erik's career was going nowhere anyway without Ivar. WWE was set to make him a proverbial jobber on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, wherever the fuck he was going to end up anyway in the draft. But Erik is now out as well. So what is WWE doing now on Monday Night Raw? The fact that they brought back Bobby Roode only tells me that Bobby Roode is going to be teaming with Dolph Ziggler, and WWE is going to set up a Street Profits versus Dolph Ziggler versus Bobby Roode, babyface versus heel tag team, but they refuse to do anything else about it. They are set with just one team challenging for the tag team titles in the division. So that's where we are going on Monday Night Raw. And we're going to get mix and match matches back and forth. We're going to get Montez Ford versus Dolph Ziggler. We're going to get Angelo Dawkins versus Bobby Roode. We're going to get Ford versus Roode. We're going to get Ziggler versus Dawkins back and forth. Yada, yada, yada. That's exactly what they're doing, folks. Mark it down. I'm telling you right now. Here I am straying away, man. You get me talking about this shit, man. I could fucking rant on this for days. It needs to be fixed. Anyway, Erik of the Viking Raiders is now out. The Viking Raiders are off WWE TV, a great tag team, just completely decimated by WWE's creative ineptness and bankruptcy. Erik of the Viking Raiders tweets this on Twitter. Today I had hardware removed from my cyborg arm. I've been putting off this surgery for a long time and just worked through the pain and limitations caused by a surgical screw protruding into my triceps. Thanks to the wonderful Dr. Dugas, I'm excited to come back at full strength, end quote. Now, there's no timetable for Erik's return back to the ring. In fact, if I was Erik, I'd actually go get whatever else is bothering me taken care of. I'd actually make up an injury or four and stay off WWE TV as long as I can, because I know if I'm going back there, I'm getting buried. I'm getting buried, man. So what good is it? Stay home with the wife. The wife is pregnant. I'm sure she needs you around the house. Go do the husband thing. Stay home. I'm sure you'll be happy and a lot healthier for it. You don't need to be back to TV. They already buried the Viking Raiders. We don't need Erik to be buried. We know they're not going to use him in a prominent role, so what's the fucking point? Keep him off of TV. So the Viking Raiders hopefully will be back sooner rather than later, man. The tag team division had a great team go down for absolutely no reason. And you know what? It's got me thinking. We just seen Ember Moon come back to NXT, man. Imagine if the NXT Tag Team Division is still in the same place that we are in right now, which is terrible. And when the Viking Raiders come back and WWE really doesn't want them, you know, out of sight, out of mind, the WWE might not even realize that these two guys are fucking still employed. Oh, look, these fucking fat Vikings are back. What are we going to do with them? Nothing. Send them back down to NXT. I'm sure we could see the return of the War Raiders, and we can get our War Raiders back. We can get Hanson and Rowe back, and we can get them back to where they were and being one of the best tag teams in all of WWE that Vince couldn't wait to fucking ruin. How many times have I told you guys that WWE has a problem with quantity over quality? Seems like I talk about it every year, man. Seems like I talk about it every year during WrestleMania season when they try and do WrestleMania for 8 hours and give me 18 fucking matches on a show, because I don't know who the fuck wants to watch that. Right? Who wants to watch 8 hours of pro wrestling? WWE pro wrestling. In fact, oh my goodness, man. Jesus Christ. It's like I need a shot of fucking caffeine every fucking 45 minutes for that show. Then we talk about Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell needs to be abolished. I'll say it right now. WWE should be doing one Hell in a Cell this year. One Hell in a Cell match for the match that deserves it most. Sasha versus Bayley, right? And then I would book it in a way where, I think we discussed this already, where Sasha Banks would get destroyed and Bayley would go on to retain, leaving Sasha out for the rest of the year, having her come back and win the Royal Rumble and then win the title at WrestleMania. That's the way I'd do it. But WWE is giving us how many matches this year, folks? How many Hell in a Cell matches are they giving us this year? Are they giving us one? Nah, it's too little. It's too little. How about two, Bruce? Are you giving us two? Nah, not enough. It's a nice round number, but it's not enough. How about three? Three. WWE's giving us 3 Hell in a Cell matches this year. I can't wait to see how they pull this one off. Which one's gonna main event? Any one of them could main event. Which one's gonna main event? Who are you gonna upset on October 25th, Bruce? Huh? How are you gonna fuck this one up, Bruce? This show needs to be abolished, man. The Hell in a Cell structure and the gimmick, the match, needs to go away for as long as it's been around. Because it has absolutely no more legitimacy and validity in WWE. It's dead. Dead. The only reason why they bring it back every fucking year is because it's Hell in a Cell. Hell coincides with Halloween. Are you fucking serious? Give me a goddamn break. Now, Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre's won. That's already been confirmed on Monday Night Raw. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso, that's confirmed on SmackDown. And then Sasha and Bayley hasn't been confirmed, so unless WWE changes their plans, that's 3 Hell in a Cell matches. Now, that's the main event in my eyes, because that's been the longest running feud on WWE television, followed by which is better quality. You got Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso, that should go on second. And then Roman Reigns, Uso in the middle, leaves Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton to open the show, because you got to do something to open, something in the middle, something to end. That's the way it's got to be. Now, which one is going to go where? I have no fucking idea. Knowing WWE, they'll probably do Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso in the main event. And this has been a 1-month feud. But it's Roman Reigns, so I mean, they got to pander to Roman Reigns. But Sasha and Bayley, if that is the case, deserve it. 1 is enough. We're getting 3. I don't really understand this company. I don't understand how they don't realize that the more you do something, it lessens the value of said something, right? Give me a break. The structure needs to go away, man. Honestly, it needs to die. Same thing with all these gimmick pay-per-views. TLC needs to die. Hell in a Cell needs to go away. Money in the Bank needs to go away. And that match needs to be back on WrestleMania because that makes sense to get everybody on the show. That's some fucking Battle Royal. What do they win? A $25 gift card to Starbucks. Give me a break. Hell in a Cell doesn't need 3 matches. All you need is 1. 1! But we're getting 3 this year. For what? I don't know, because WWE thinks that that's what the fans want. In fact, I don't think that's what the fans want at all. I just think the fans want something that actually makes sense. And finally, guys, before we get the hell on out of here for this Off The Script Extra, Ken Shamrock. I mentioned Ken Shamrock on my last Extra, and I want to apologize for being misinformed. I had a bunch of geeks come and tell me that Ken Shamrock was actually the first ever NWA TNA champion for the company. And that's why he's actually being inducted into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. Fine, I made a mistake. I didn't know that part. I mean, who the fuck watches Impact Wrestling? Oh, man. Imagine watching Impact Wrestling and actually enjoying it, man. Jesus Christ, I hope you know that everybody there is actually going to go on to bigger and greener pastures after they're done with Impact Wrestling. Who the fuck ends their career in Impact Wrestling, man? Jesus Christ. Anyway, Ken Shamrock, he explains why he reached out to The Rock for his Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame induction. He was actually a guest on Busted Shield Radio this week to promote Bound for Glory. He said this, and I quote, Shamrock talked about reaching out to The Rock to induct him into the Impact Hall of Fame. Me and The Rock, we had a program together. We definitely stayed in contact through social media, but his schedule and my schedule, it's not like we go out and have coffee. But I'll never forget the things he did for me, and the times we spent together were special because he really did help me in my pro wrestling career. I know he will tell you the same thing with me and the things we did because shot him up into stardom. It wasn't because of me, it was because of what we were able to do together and be able to give ourselves a chance to be able to step away and do greater things in other places. That was a start for me and him. He was a big part of that. I thought it was fitting for him to be a part of that induction because I believe that's where it started, was with him, end quote. Now, you guys know how I feel about this. I mean, great for Ken Shamrock. Congratulations to him. I think it's going to be a great honor for him to be there and, accept that induction. And clearly his bond with The Rock was strong, and it was very special to him, being that he hasn't been a pro wrestler for, a lot of his life. He picked it up very quickly compared to a lot of the others that I've seen come from that sport and try and do. But you guys know how I feel about this. Great for Shamrock. I would never take away that special night from him. But, I think Impact kind of knew that Rock was going to be the one to induct Ken Shamrock. And one of the reasons why they're doing it this year is because The Rock is available. They're going to have The Rock on Impact TV. They're going to have The Rock on their social media. It's just the way Impact is using this as nothing more than a promotional tool for Bound for Glory and a promotional tool for their company. And at the end of the day, what good is it going to do? At the end of the day, nobody's going to give a shit about Impact. Oh, look, The Rock is on Impact. And then by the time we are 48 hours removed from Bound for Glory, who the fuck's going to remember what The Rock did or what The Rock said or anything that happened on that show, man? Just like every other Impact show, it's happening when it's happening. Oh my God, it's a great show. And then 24 hours later, nobody gives a shit about what happened on said show. So that's exactly what's going to happen there. Shamrock into the Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame. I want to make an apology here that I did leave out that very important piece of information on the last extra. Thank you guys for correcting me on that. But at the end of the day, who's going to really give a shit but Ken Shamrock? The Rock is doing it because The Rock is a genuine human being. And maybe I'll tune into Bound for Glory because last year's show was pretty damn good. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much for joining me here on the show, on the podcast. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. It helps out the channel. Follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. And I'll see you guys tonight for what I think will be a creative failure in the WWE 2020 draft starting on SmackDown. I'll be live tonight. Hopefully you guys join me, and I will see you tonight for the draft on SmackDown.